Good morning, students. I'm Sister Clara. Today, let us learn the figures of speech. What is figure of speech? First of all, let us understand. A figure of speech is a special form of expression used in order to make speech or writing more effective. It is an ornament of language. You see, every poet, every writer, they make use of these figures of speech. For what purpose? You see it is here to make their writings or their speech more effective. Also, it is rightly said it's an ornament of language. Why do people use ornament? To beautify themselves, of course, to impress on someone, to look good. Similarly, this is the only reason why even the poets and the writers, they make use of the figures of speech in their writings. There are so many figures of speech. However, in this video you will have 18 figures of speech and which are useful one time or the other. In one poem or the other they will appear and you are asked in the exams, name and explain the figures of speech. So pay attention and learn them well. Let us see the first figure of speech. The first figure of speech is simile. What is simile? Simile is a comparison between two unlike objects having at least one point in common. Words of comparison as, like, so are used. You see, this is a comparison between two unlike objects. That means they are not similar objects. But then they will have at least one point in common. One point will be common things. But then two are different objects. Also, it is easy to identify the words like as, like, and so will be used. With that, you can make out it's a simile. Let's see the example. She was fair as a star. Now she and star, comparison is done between she, a girl, and a star. Both are unlike things. How can you compare a girl with a star? But however, they have one thing in common. What is it? The quality of fairness. Here fairness means the brightness. Maybe she is very fair and star, it's always so bright. And so the quality of fairness is same. That's why it is a simile. As well as you see the word as is used here. You can easily identify it's a simile. The second sentence, beauty passes like a dream. Here also the comparison is done between beauty and a dream. Both are unlike things, dreaming and beauty. Can you imagine? However, they have one thing in common and that is the quality of passing. It is not remains forever. Dream also passes away, beauty also passes away. So quality of passing is similar. That is the same thing. Also the word like is used here and therefore it is a simile. Third example, you are so thin like a stick. You, the person, and stick. You see, you can't compare. However, they have one thing in common, the thinness. Maybe she is very thin. Also the word like is used here. So it's a simile. She was proud as a peacock. She, a girl, and peacock are compared here. One thing in common, the feeling of pride, because she is so beautiful perhaps. And so she is so proud. So here the feeling of pride is same. Peacock also is very proud, for its beauty. Also the word as is used. It's a simile. Hope you have understood what is simile. You will see in your poem it will appear sometime or the other. Next figure of speech is metaphor. Metaphor is an implied comparison between two unlike objects. The two objects are spoken of as one. The word of comparison is not used here. And therefore, metaphor also is known as implied simile. Here also comparison is done between two unlike objects like simile. But then here two objects are spoken of as one. Here not comparative words are not used like so, as, like, they are not used here. Both things are different, yet the poet will speak as one. You see here, example, the sea is our mother. Sea and mother is compared, but then both are spoken of as one. Understood? And therefore it is a metaphor. But suppose it was there, sea is like our mother. In fact, it's like our mother. So when we add like, it becomes a simile, but then both things are spoken of as one, sea and mother. Therefore it is a metaphor. Second, life is a dream. Life is actually like a dream, okay? Not life is not, it cannot be dream. But then when it is both are spoken of as one, it's a metaphor. Again, camel is the sheep of the desert. Camel cannot be the sheep, but it is like the sheep. But then it is spoken of as one. Therefore, it is a metaphor. The variety is the salt of life. Again, same thing. Variety cannot be salt of life, but it is like the salt of life. But then the poet will speak as if both are one and the same. Therefore, this type of figure of speech is metaphor. Third is personification. When inanimate objects or abstract ideas are spoken of as having life and human qualities, the figure of speech is personification. What is inanimate objects? Having no life. Okay? No life. Inanimate objects like your table, chair, fan, sky, all these are no life. Also abstract ideas, like love, hope, faith, charity, generosity, these are abstract ideas. They are spoken of as having life and human qualities. We call it personification. Let us see the examples. The year is dying in the night. The year is the time, okay? It has no life. How can it die? What dies? What is having life only can die. So here the year is given the quality of human being dying, and therefore it is a personification. Again, the wind lies asleep in the arms of the dawn. Wind lies asleep. Can wind sleep? Only human being and the animals, of course. Those who have life can sleep. Also arms of the dawn. Dawn means early morning. The morning has no arms. Only human beings having the arms. These type of sentences, we call it figures. This type of sentences, the figure of speech is personification. Again, laughter holding both the sides. Laughter cannot hold. Okay? It has no life. Only human being can hold the cheeks, when you laugh. So it is laughter holding both the sides. This kind of figure of speech, we call it personification. Next one is apostrophe. What is apostrophe? It's a direct address to an inanimate object, again you see, or idea, or an absent or a dead person. Person is either inanimate object, remember, idea, or an absent, person is not there, or person is dead and gone. You are addressing directly. We call it apostrophe. And it is a special form of personification, but it's not a personification. Example, you see, Milton, thou should have been living at this time. The poet is telling, who was Milton? Milton was a great philosopher, great writer, great poet. So telling Milton, he is no more, okay? He is dead and gone. But as if he is addressing, as if he is listening, direct address. Milton, thou should have been living at this time. Second, O death, where is your victory? Death cannot hear, no life it has. But then it's a direct address. O death, where is your victory? Pack clouds away and welcome day. Clouds, addressing to clouds, telling pack up and go and let the day comes. They come. And so this type of figure of speech, we call it apostrophe. Direct address to the inanimate object or person absent. Next one is alliteration. It's very easy. When the same consonant sound or vowel sounds are repeated at the beginning of the words to create musical effect in a line, figure of speech is alliteration. So either consonant sound or vowel sounds, there will be one at the beginning or at the middle or the end, but then there will be same sound, okay? We call alliteration. See here, your feathery life in the air, consonant sound F is repeated, feathery life, you see, and so it is a alliteration. I kept fast for another day in your first chapter of the poem. Kept fast for, the consonant sound F is repeated here and therefore it is an alliteration. Third one, sleep and strength that can be won. The consonant sound S is repeated in this sentence and therefore it's an alliteration. I hope you have understood it. Let's move further. Next is your repetition. Often students make mistake with repetition and alliteration. In repetition, some words are repeated in a line to create musical effect. In the alliteration, the sounds were repeated. Here the same words, words are repeated. See here. Alone, alone, all alone. See how many times all alone, alone is repeated. For men may come and men may go. Men is repeated. May also is repeated. No men are strange. No country is foreign. No. The word no is repeated, and therefore in this kind of figure of speech we call it repetition. Seventh is internal rhyme. I hope you know what is rhyming words. You have learnt it in a primary section itself, like cat, bat, hat. These are the rhyming words. So when two rhyming words are used in a line, one in the middle of the line and the other at the end of it, the figure of speech is internal rhyme. Rhyming words. Okay. See here, wing from the wind to please her mind. See the rhyming word, wind, middle, and the mind. Same word, same rhyming words. Can you see this? I went to town to buy a gown. Town and gown. Rhyming words. I took the car and it wasn't far. Car and far. I had a cat who wore a hat. Here you see cat and hat. This kind of sentences we call it internal rhyme. Next is your hyperbole. What is this hyperbole? Here the statement is made emphatic by making clear overstatement or exaggeration. You know, when impossible things are spoken, you know, sometimes even the small things are made it very big. We call it hyperbole. You see your example. She wept and filled the dry river with tears. You know, wept and wept means weeping. She wept so much so, the dry river was filled with tears. Is it possible? Not at all. How much she can cry? It's not possible. This type of sentences, when impossible things are spoken, we call it hyperbole, exaggerated. These are the exaggeration. Again you see here, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. You know, Arab countries known for its perfume. Imagine the entire country's perfumes are brought, not able to sweeten this little hand, not possible. The 9-decked city goes to sea. 9-story city goes to sea. These are impossible things or exaggerated things are spoken, and therefore this type of sentences we call hyperbole. Next one is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia means the sound words. When the sound of words is made to suggest echo the sense, it is the onomatopoeia. Now you remember, it's a sound words. See, and whiz and wheeze and hoot and roar. You see, whiz and wheeze. These are the sound created by the wind. Again, every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart. This is also from your lesson, from your poem. It has the tinkle is the raindrops falling on the roof. The sound that is made. Sound words. Whenever you come across sound words, it's an onomatopoeia. The moan of the doves in immemorial elms. Moan of the doves, moan. Their sound, their cry. That is the meaning, that is the onomatopoeia. 10th is euphemism. What is euphemism? When a harsh or unpleasant fact is stated in mild, agreeable words, the figure of speech is euphemism. You know, when sometimes the things are very unpleasant or very harsh, especially the death. We don't like to say someone died. You know, there is some other words we make use of it. We call it euphemism. Example, all are gone, the old familiar faces. Here all are gone. Here this gone stands for person is dead, no more. Okay. His time was come and he ran his race. Here also this sentence also shows the person is no more. Means he is dead. But they're not telling that his time had come and he ran his he died. We are not saying like this. Okay, mild words are used. He has fallen asleep and his sleep knows no waking. He has fallen asleep. He is sleeping and he will not get up. He will not be waking up again. That means he is dead. So these kind of unpleasant things are stated in a mild and agreeable words. We call it euphemism. 11th is antithesis. Antithesis, when words with strikingly opposite meanings are used. You know, opposite meanings are used in the same sentence for what purpose? To show the contrast between two ideas or actions. The figure of speech is antithesis. We remember it is opposite meanings in the same sentence. Men may come and men may go. Same sentence you might have come across if you remember in repetition, because men is here. Now it's not like that one figure of speech cannot be another figure of speech. No, same sentence can be more than one figure of speech here. You see, antithesis is the opposite meaning. You see, men may come, men may go. Come and go. Are you understanding? This is called antithesis. Opposite meanings are used. Man proposes, God disposes. You see, man and God opposite, proposes and disposes. Again, contrasting ideas. Speech is silver, but silence is gold. Speech and silence opposite, silver and gold again opposite. So strikingly opposite it has to be. Fourth example, to err is human, to forgive is divine. Err means to make mistake. When we make mistake, you see the opposite, forgiveness. Human and divine. Again, the contrasting idea, we call it antithesis. Next is your transferred epithet. Transfer means, movement from one place to the other, and epithet means it's an adjective. You see, when an epithet or adjective is transferred from its proper noun to another noun, in the same sentence, the figure of speech is transferred epithet. Remember, epithet means adjective. That means it is transferred from its proper noun to another noun in the same sentence. Here you see, the happy highways where I went. Now here, which is adjective? Happy. Now, happy highways. Highway is not happy. Who is happy? I was happy. So you see how the epithet or the adjective is transferred or placed from one noun to from its proper noun to some other noun in the same sentence. Here also, he passed a sleepless night. Sleepless is your adjective, but then you see, night was not sleepless. He was sleepless. Remember that, okay? Again, before her wandering feet were not wandering. She was wandering. But then the placement of epithet or adjective is not in its proper noun. Next one is your litotes. When an affirmative idea is conveyed by negation of the opposite, figure of speech is litotes. You see, litotes, you have to remember, it's usually how to identify, very easy. No, not word will be there, but then it will be conveying positive meaning or affirmative idea, affirmative sentence. We call it litotes. See here, Mr. Pandit is no fool. What is the meaning of it? Though no is used here, negative word, but then meaning is Mr. Pandit is very clever or very intelligent. Are you understanding? Again you see, I am not a little tired. Here though not is there, that means not a little tired means I am very much tired. Remember, no men are foreign, no country strange. Remember, this sentence also had come earlier for the repetition. Here, no is used here, negative word, negative sentence, but then to convey the positive meaning that we all are same. Nobody is foreigners here, nobody is strange here. All are same, equal. 14th is synecdoche. Synecdoche again is a part suggests the whole or a whole suggests a part. We call it synecdoche. With the example it will be clear for you. You see, all the best brains of the country met together to discuss the problem. Here best brains is a part of the body, but then it stands for the whole of person. All the best brains here means the intelligent people, the clever people of the country, they met together to discuss the problem. Second again, all are gone, all familiar faces. The faces stand for the part of the body, stand for the whole of person. India entered the finals by defeating New Zealand. Here India, it stands for not the whole of India, but then how many cricketers are playing, cricketers or footballer or whatever it is, at the most 12 or 13. That stands for the whole of India. Are you understanding? We speak, no, India defeated Pakistan or India defeated New Zealand, whatever. But then this whole stands for part and the part stands for whole. This kind of sentences, we call it synecdoche. Next is your metonymy. Metonymy means change of name. In this figure of speech, an object is designated by the name of something which is generally associated with it. An object is used to suggest some other thing. Metonymy is change of name. With the example, it will be clear for you. I am reading Shakespeare now. You see, I am reading Shakespeare now means the book written by Shakespeare. You cannot read Shakespeare. You are reading either book written by Shakespeare or the life of Shakespeare you are reading. Okay, the whole city welcome the great leader. Here, whole city is not going to welcome the people in the city. Okay, so this is metonymy, change of name. The White House will be making an announcement around noon today. White House is a building. It will not make announcement. Actually, who will be making announcement here? The president. But then this is called change of name comes here. So it is a metonymy. Next figure of speech is here anastrophe. Anastrophe refers to the inversion of the typical word order in a sentence. You will see in the example, the order of the sentence, is something very typical. Example, patience I ask. See, are you understanding? Patience I ask. Usually how we will write, I ask patience. Okay, it's called anastrophe. In the night sky shimmered the moon. You see, and the sentence would be, in the night the moon shimmered in the sky. Again, said the duck to the kangaroo. It is not the duck said to the kangaroo would be the correct sentence, but said the duck to the kangaroo. It is in your in your poem. This sentence also will appear. This figure of speech. Remember that. Excited the children were when Santa entered the room. Excited the children? No. The children were excited when Santa entered the room. So this kind of sentence we call it anastrophe. Next is your anaphora. When a word or expression is repeated at the beginning of a number of sentences, figure of speech is anaphora. In the beginning of the sentences, so many times it will be repeated. See here, don't break the shutters, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books. From your second poem, this sentence is taken. In the 9th standard, don't break the shutters, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books. We call it anaphora. 18th is interrogation. Here the interrogation, I am sure you know what is interrogation. Interrogative words are like what, which, where, all these things. But when in this figure of speech, when question is asked not to get an answer, okay, usually we ask question to get answer, but then in this figure of speech, question is asked not to get an answer, but to state a point more effectively. Figure of speech is interrogation. We want to make the sentence more effective. Then that's why we ask this question. You see, who can be without love for his country? That means here we are not asking question. Nobody is expecting answer for this. Who can be without love for his country means all love their own country. That is the meaning of it. We are affirming, but then we are asking question. Can we forget our great martyrs? That means we can never forget our great martyrs. We are affirming it. Who can forget one's motherland? Same thing. We cannot forget our motherland. We are affirming. Who can compete with Mohit? Probably Mohit is very intelligent in the class. So we are telling no one can compete with Mohit. That's why we are telling who can compete with Mohit. We are not asking the question. We are not waiting for the answer. I hope the 18th figure of speech will be clear to you. If you have not understood, you can approach me and learn all these figures of speech, both 9th and 10th standard students. It will be useful for you for your lesson. Thank you.